All right, this is Our Yards Podcast with your host, Harlan Mitkill, and your other host, Trevor Bailey.
Swaggy T.
Swaggy T, Hog Master. We're, it's just a podcast. We're going to talk about general conversations, stuff that we like, sports, music, wrestling, and unfortunately for y'all, wrestling, there's no sports on, so it's wrestling, baby. And we're not talking about baseball because piss on.
No. We'd both our teams. I mean, the Cardinals are better than the Angels, but I think honestly, like a Make-A-Wish team would probably be better than the Angels right now. So it is what it is. But no, there is no sports that we care about on right now, except for maybe the WNBA. Shout out Caitlin Clark. It don't matter if you like them or hate them. They're bringing attention to a sport that everybody trolled for years and years. So shout out to y'all for that.
Yep.
But as we said, unfortunately for y'all, wrestling is the only thing you're going to be hearing out of us. And for wrestling right now, speaking of women's sports, I think the women's division in wrestling right now, as far as the pay per views have been, it's just been out of the fucking world with the
Yep.
performances we've been getting from them.
And honestly, the women's division is completely been dominating. I'd say since the Survivor Series 2023, they had a full completely the women's completely dominated the men's.
and it's been a recurring theme ever since then. I think
Yep.
the women's money in the bank match. In my opinion, I don't think really there was a bad match at Money in the Bank. I mean, I think overall it's probably been the weakest pay per view, but like on an average, I wouldn't say it's been the worst pay per view since Mania for sure.
Yeah.
But the men's Money in the Bank just kind of but the honestly, like just a quick little side note about the men's Money in the Bank. Andrade came out to almost a negative pop and arguably stole the show.
And
So
left and on
him and Carmelo Hayes both, like they absolutely just was it was amazing what they did in that match.
and honestly, I mean Andrade was getting the biggest reactions. I mean, just I
Absolutely.
know you said stole the show like in the same essence, but like
Well, I mean, just the match itself, the women's Money in the Bank stole the show.
yeah, I mean yeah, the women's Money in the Bank match was just beautiful. Like that last spot where Chelsea Green went off the top and
Mm.
was at the briefcase, and then Tiffy pushed her over, had the table spot. I mean, like that was a perfectly executed table spot.
And a lot of respect towards Chelsea Green for that because she's always been kind of like, I mean, she's a great wrestler, but like it's always been more of like almost like a comedy character. And for her to take a bump like that is
Pretty crazy.
that's insane. It's insane, And but no, it's gonna be a wonderful ride seeing where Tiffany cashes it in. I don't think it'll be at SummerSlam, but you never know. I don't think they're gonna have I wouldn't think they'd have consecutive years of them doing a Money in the Bank cash in at Mania, but I mean I could absolutely be wrong on that as well.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I mean my way early prediction which I think they're gonna actually have a storyline with this Money in the Bank because there's like I don't know, there's a lot that they could do with it, but it wasn't. I mean, you don't have a man's Money in the Bank because Drew cashed in and then CM Punk cost him the match, so it's all there is a women's Money in the Bank. So they're gonna
Yeah,
do
and
something. I mean,
honestly,
they gotta carry it for a few months, I would
yeah,
assume.
and me and you talked about that a while back. It felt a little like I understand why they brought the Money in the Bank in with Drew specifically, but personally, like I'm not a booker, so take this with a grain of salt. But like I kind of feel like they should have had somebody else go over in that match. I
Yeah,
think Jay, like LA Knight, would have been my personal preference, but I mean he's about to, hopefully beat LA Knight for, or Jesus Christ, he's hopefully about to beat Logan Paul for the U.S. title at SummerSlam. So I don't know. Jay would have felt like the better pick, especially as over as he is right now.
but a
It
lot of
just,
people are
but
speculating he's gonna be tied in with the bloodline stuff too. So
yeah, there's a very big chance of that. So I guess maybe I don't know. I will give creative the benefit of the doubt because creative's been on a roll really ever since like Triple H fully took over as like the guy for them for the
yeah,
company. I feel like they've just been putting out gold. Like they don't do perfect every single time, but I mean you're not gonna please everyone all the time.
no,
But I mean compared to like the Vince era where we had like bra and panty matches and like what was that fucking? It was like the something on a stick match.
oh god,
You know what I'm talking
yeah,
about?
yeah,
Yeah, like we're pat. But my point being is like we don't see that goofy shit anymore because like it actually feels like the people that are being brought in are being actually like for the most part being treated with the respect that they deserve for their craft, and that's a beautiful thing to see.
yeah, and we're yeah. I don't know. I mean, the whole oh, yeah. I don't. Fuck. Hell, I lost my train of thought. I'm fucking. God damn
You're all good.
it. But yeah, like it's not more. It's not like a comedy. It's not. What's I mean? There's funny parts. Like you have characters that can be funny, but it's not like a.
Oh yeah, our truth is
It's
always
just not.
hilarious.
Yeah, but that's actually like comedy. It's not just like the most outrageous shit just to be outrageous, like Vince
Yeah,
was doing for so long. And I mean, I think it's gonna be. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot to look forward to in the near future because I mean they can go so many different ways right now with
yeah.
SummerSlam. I mean, we can make our predictions like for early SummerSlam, like
We could. I
SummerSlam
actually have a
matchups.
couple. I had some written down. Um,
Well, fire away
so
then, brother.
so you can agree or disagree with me. The predictions I had for SummerSlam. I think the obvious one. I mean, the one that's already like on the poster, Gunther and Damian Priest. I think even as like, well, we've been talking about like, you know, the women being the center of the show as far as like what people are getting into. I feel like Gunther and Damian Priest might steal the show. Full stop. And I know Damian Priest has had a few a pay per view like the last pay per view with the whole like have like not kicking out at 2 and all that. I feel like that was more of a miscommunication with whoever's supposed to play Drew's music, but that's just
Yeah,
speculation also. But Damian, I mean, probably should have been hindsight being 2020, like probably should have at least thrown the shoulder up at 2 in that scenario. But everything probably just. I'm not a professional, so I can't say for sure. But that one at Clash at the Castle, where he almost
Well, it's for
just,
when he
oh my
almost
god,
broke his damn leg.
oh my god, that
That
was
was
so
terrible.
hard to watch. And the thing is, like when he's just on live TV, is one of the best workers than on the roster.
Yep,
And then
yep,
it's just it's in these pay-per-views, man. I mean, the last time I feel like there was people having issues with the ropes, like that entire Clash at the Castle. But
yep.
you know, I'm not trying to make excuses, but I just hope that something like that doesn't happen at SummerSlam. But with somebody like Gunther, I don't I don't know if I don't know if you're going to have anything get to that kind of point, you know. So I have very, very
Like
high
the
expectations for that match, and I think Gunther's going to
it's
go
like
over and be the new world heavyweight champion.
yeah. I mean, it's like Seth Rollins told him on Monday night. He's like, you were good. Like you were really good when you faced me the other night. He's like, but you got to be better than that to face Gunther. And he was like,
Yeah,
Damien's like, oh well, I'm already there. And Seth just looked at him like, you
you're not.
have like he like. I mean, he's the ring general for a reason. Like he is the most perfect technician in the world right now. I
I
mean,
would.
Gunther's just
I
he's on
agree
a
with you,
different
dude.
level. He's on a
And a lot of
different
people,
level
and
than
it's
everybody.
wild to me. Like I know everybody's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but it's crazy to me. People say that he's overrated, has like three moves, and I don't know what y'all like. I don't know what y'all have been watching to say that he's only got like three moves because this dude, like even like on his way to King of the Ring, like winning it, like he wound up tapping out pretty much everybody with different
Yep,
submissions every time, and that's not even
yep,
his usual finishers. Like this is a dude that can put any move in on you and make it look. He can like he is a dude that single handedly changed pretty much like how we view the chop outside of like Chris Benoit. Like he's one of the few people. Like everybody, every time someone hit somebody with a chop, they did the Ric Flair woo, and then you see back, especially back when he was Walter, when he weighed like 300, he'd hit somebody with a chop. It sounded like a damn shotgun went off,
yep,
and I don't think anybody's ever had that kind of effect with the audience when they chop somebody that it just looks like, he could just pin him right there, one, two, three, and people would believe it.
yep. I
Except
mean,
maybe Moose
Moose.
in TNA, because that dude's throwing some meat too, let's be honest.
Oh yeah,
But no, I feel like I feel like that's going to be either the best or the second best match of the night. Other very
and
kind
then
of feels obvious one coming up. I feel like Cody and Solo for the championship.
for the undisputed WWE Championship,
That's right, the double single.
the double single.
I I personally feel like obviously the Bloodline's going to get involved, but I feel like Cody's going to go over in that match. I
Yep,
don't and it's not that I don't see Cody losing to just anybody. I just don't see him losing to Solo. I could be wrong, but that's what predictions are. You're 50-50.
yep.
But
Well, I was
I just I don't see why would you put the belt on Solo? Would it be like a war game situation where Roman comes back and beats him at Survivor Series, or like are all the rumors true and Roman's coming back at SummerSlam? You don't know. Like
up. Now I've thought about that match. If it happens, what would be cool is if Cody has the up, if Solo has the upper hand on Cody, it looks like he's about to win, and then here comes Roman Reigns, the big dog, Ryback. but Roman
the tribal
Roman
chief is hungry. Feed me more.
but Roman comes back and
That's what
interferes,
it
and
is.
like Roman just comes out and spears Solo or Superman punches or something, and takes him out, and then Cody hits the Crossroads Trinity and wins. I mean,
That would be cool.
that would be the way to go about it. I mean, that's just fantasy booking. That's
I mean,
just
I don't disagree.
my idea. And then like
Yeah,
the other matches, like the other one that's set in stone for sure, is Bailey versus Nia Jax.
yeah, that one's set in stone for sure. That's another. That was Queen of the Ring, and
Honestly, I think Nia might
I
win
think
just
Nia. Yeah,
because.
I think Nia's gonna win. Honestly, dude. Like Bailey's she is my goat wrestler in the women's division of all time. I feel like she is probably going to put Nia over. And, you know, Nia has definitely like rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, fans and workers alike. But she's gotten better. I do have to give her that. She has gotten better. I will say that like drop she gave Lyra Valkyria at Queen of the Ring still hurts me to this day watching that. That was
Yep.
fucking brutal. But I mean,
And
Lyra
then
came back that next Raw like nothing happened. So
yeah,
that either speaks to her toughness, or maybe Nia's getting better at selling that move,
yeah.
making it look a lot more devastating. But either way,
Now, now here's the interesting plot they can do with that. Like if Nia wins, then her and Tiffy are best friends. Which
yeah,
they're best friends in real life, and then kayfabe they're on screen they've kind of been like friendly with each other. So she's Queen of the Ring, and you have her win, and then Tiffany cashes the title on her and
I
wins. And
think
now,
that's. I mean, people are already cheering for Tiffany regardless, and she's being pushed as a heel. So just to make her kind of turn into this like sassy face would be perfect.
yep.
And I think Tiffy
Now
time
here's
would be celebrated by everyone.
yep. Now here's the thing: Money in the Bank, you can cash in on whatever championship, but there is
Yeah.
nobody is even talking about the possibility of cashing in on the women's world championship because that's Liv and Rhea.
That's
Like
Liv
that's
and
the
Rhea are about to Liv and Rhea are about so that's the other that's when I was talking about Gunther and Priest being one of two of the best matches of the night. Like Liv and Rhea very well may just steal the show
yeah. If
because
they
they have amazing chemistry in the ring together. It is
and I
actually insane to watch.
and I say if they match at SummerSlam, but since Rhea came back kind of unexpectedly,
It's also Custody of Dom Part 2, and
yeah,
I'm here for it. So um another this one's kind of my own personal prediction. I think the women's tag team championship is going to be on the line, and I feel like it's going to be Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, and I feel like they are going to win. Um, they may not have a match for that. They may have championshipless matches going on, just like beef matches. And
yeah,
another example of that, and I feel like this one is going to happen. I feel like Drew Punk won because I feel like it's going to be a trilogy. I feel like
yeah,
Drew and Punk are going to have their first match at SummerSlam, and I feel like Drew's going to win the first one.
yeah.
Could be wrong on that, but um, you're either right or wrong.
It's kind of
Um,
it's kind of intriguing their size difference to see what they're going to do because Punk is
oh,
one of the most
Punk has worked with big dudes before. I mean, we were just talking about one. Now, granted, that's not a good example.
yeah. Now, but like he's
I'm
worked
fucking
with
stupid. I'm sorry.
Rip, rest in peace, Ryback. He uh
But no, I see what you're
oh
saying with like Punk and Drew, the size difference, like what they're going to do.
it's kind of yeah because like I know Punk. Now this is one of my favorite matches of all time. Was WrestleMania 29 when it was
Mm.
Punk versus Taker. I mean that was just a phenomenal match. Of course, I know, Undertaker's one of the most, you know, one
Undertaker's
of
also a brawler.
yeah, and he's one of the best workers of all time. So
Well, yeah,
it's
no,
kind of a
he will
different
make
thing.
whoever he's wrestling. If the Undertaker can't make you look good in the ring, you can't do anything. Like
Yeah,
that's
like
pretty
there's
much
no
it.
hope for him.
Undertaker will make anybody look like $1 million.
And of course, that was CM Punk at like his finest.
Yeah. So you had
2013.
like, and Punk is another one of those dudes that make you look like $1 million. So you just had two
Yep,
of the best workers of all time. Phenomenal fucking match. Um, but
yep.
I do
But
like.
as
I
the
feel.
summer,
Go ahead.
oh my bad. Well, I was just gonna say the SummerSlam card. You said the women's tag team titles. That does sound good, and I agree with your prediction and stuff. But the only thing I will say this is because they've usually been doing about 5 matches per pay-per-view, maybe 6,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah,
really
Triple H has
feel
a very less is more approach to pay-per-views, but it's
and
also SummerSlam,
yeah, it is
which outside of
SummerSlam.
maybe the Royal Rumble is their second biggest pay-per-view of the year. So
No,
I thought
I'd
like
say
I
it's
just
more.
put
I'd say it's more than the Royal Rumble. Like
yeah, I
it's
mean
like
the big
Mania.
four is obviously Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and the Rumble.
Yeah, and
But
I think you have to have LA Knight versus Logan Paul for the U.S. title at
and
SummerSlam.
LA Knight's going over. I mean that's
Yeah, even
Logan
though
Paul's had a great run as champion. He hasn't really had that many matches, but again, he's another one of those like he's en route to being kind of like a CM Punk in the sense that he doesn't have to be wrestling every week to still entertain you.
yeah,
And I feel like, wrestling's been missing that because Drew McIntyre is kind of the same way, but he's also like a weekly wrestler. So,
yeah,
but yeah, those are just some predictions. And if the IC title is on the line, I have two people that would possibly be going against Sami Zayn. And I have either one of them going over, and it's either going to be Braun Breaker or Sheamus. And
yeah,
Sheamus may seem kind of like an odd one, but I mean, he's actively been trying to like fill out that Intercontinental so that he can be a Grand Slam champion.
yeah,
And, you know, it can happen. You never know.
yeah. I mean, it can
But
happen.
If Braun Breaker goes against Sami Zayn again, I feel like Braun Breaker's going to win.
Yeah, he has to go over.
He has to go over. I mean, he as
But
good as he is right now.
and
No,
he's
you
only getting
can't
better.
you can't waste that.
No, but people are talking
And
about
they're not going to.
like after Money in the Bank, they're like, oh, Sammy buried Sammy Hogan. Out now.
Down,
Apparently,
down, down, down.
Sammy Hogan apparently buried Braun. I'm like, dude, he didn't bury Braun. But
How did
here's the
he
like,
bury Braun, dude?
yeah, that's
Here's
what
the
I
thing.
feel like.
Honestly, it's better for Braun because it makes Sammy look that much better when he does finally go over Sammy. Because it's like this is a
Yeah,
dude that's beat me before. This is the first dude that beat me since I've been to the roster, clean
yeah.
at that. So
Well, the
yeah, no, that I feel like I mean you have him go out there. I mean, then what was this whole thing? What was Sammy beating Gunther for? You know,
yep,
you got to make Sammy look like a really strong champion before you have someone even stronger come down and take him down.
yep. And the thing about
Like,
Sammy is like, why would you say Sammy Hogan? Because like Sammy, like this is his longest title. This is his longest single run in WWE. Like the dude's killing it right now. But I like,
absolutely, I think he's probably the most. Is it a stretch to say he's the most over champion right now? Outside of maybe
Cody.
even well, no, I can't even say DIY. I mean, DIY has potential to be, but like they just won it, a week ago.
Yep.
So give them time, let them defend it a few times, and then there's potential there. But like Sami Zayn's one of the most over faces of the last 15 years. And it's just, I mean, that dude could have the title for a year, and the massive core of casual fans would probably not complain.
Yeah.
So I don't think him winning all these matches is a bad thing, but I do feel like if he's going to have a match at SummerSlam, he does need to drop it.
For sure. Like if it's against
Depending on
Braun,
who he's going against. Now, if it's Bronson Reed or Chad Gable for a third fucking time, I would rather Sammy just stay champion, you know.
yeah, I don't think he'll go
But
against. He's done with Chad Gable.
well,
Chad,
Chad Gable's. Speaking
he's
of Chad Gable's probably in my personal favorite storyline going on right now.
oh yeah, with the Wyatt Six. I mean
Man,
that's one of the
if
most
you
beautiful
didn't
things
believe, you do now.
happened. Damn right.
Bo Dallas is killing it, man. He is doing a wonderful job. Like this is.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where it comes. To
I
see
want
like
to. I want to see him finally get in the ring because we finally got to see him out of costume for the first time on
yeah,
Monday, sitting in Adam Pearce's office. So I'm really excited to see where this goes. I mean, this like storyline is so unique to like what's going on right now that I feel like this is going to introduce a lot of people that aren't even really into wrestling. I mean, it gives them the opportunity to be like, "Oh, this is fucking cool." Like for example, my old lady, she does not like wrestling. Soon as I show her a Bray Wyatt promo, she's like, "All right, I'll give it a chance." Like, and and it's just it's crazy that like just certain people have that kind of effect. And I'm really hoping that Bo Dallas gets to carry that torch and maybe even go further potentially, but
yeah.
we will see. That's because that's some big shoes to fill.
Oh yeah, without
But
a doubt.
but all thumbs up on my side as far as what they're doing with it right now. I love it.
Yeah, it's very entertaining. It keeps you coming back every week just to see what they're going to do in there in a match. You know, I don't know.
Yeah,
Just the production of it's just wonderful. Yeah,
absolutely. The camera work, and that's a whole nother conversation. WWE's camera work, but
this
way
year,
better than the Kevin Dunn era, no doubt about that.
oh, it's so wonderful. Like following them all the backstage and stuff, like one single camera shot, and just
Yeah,
like down
flowing
in there.
segments as they do, especially like one big one that sticks in my mind still is like when Liv Morgan attacked Rhea Ripley, Dominic like kind of hushed the camera off, and then the camera just immediately kind of went straight back into like the main part with the audience as a
Yep,
wrestler was making their entrance. And it's
yep,
just stuff like that that like just keeps you locked in the entire time,
yep.
and it makes it feel all that more real. And you know, 5 stars to them for that.
Without a doubt. It's I know it's exciting. I'm ready for it. Just see what happens.
Absolutely. And
Um,
on the NXT side of things,
boy, how
I can't
this
say I'm super impressed with Ethan Page. Um, but I feel like this is gonna come off weird, but like I feel like he would be a better face. Like, cause it's just like as a heel, it just feels like he's forcing himself to be an asshole.
yeah. The only
There's
good
like
thing about
some people, they just come off. They're just good at it.
yeah,
You know, like Ethan Page, definitely feels like he's putting on like this facade of like, okay, I have to be a bad guy now.
yeah,
In the ring, he's great. Like I don't really have any complaints about him in the ring. Dude. He's got some vicious chops himself. But no, I can't. I don't believe the heel. I don't believe him
yeah.
being a heel.
The only thing you can believe him being a heel is when he gets his ass kicked. That's about it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like he's really good at looking like a coward,
Yep.
and that's a very heelish, that's a very good thing to be when you're a heel. Dude, I mean, you're a puss. Like I'll fight you, but not here type shit. Um, but no, across NXT, I mean, we're gonna get into TNA, and TNA is gonna be more your wheelhouse than mine. Um, honestly, NXT is probably your wheelhouse than mine. But as far as like
I've been watching
NXT,
it
like
more. Like the TNA NXT merger, like
I
that
was
they
surprised to
do.
see that the OC is in NXT.
Yeah, I mean, well, they're technically they are on SmackDown, but they do go to NXT a lot. Like they're down there like helping the young, like trying to keep the tag team because that's the problem with NXT right now is the tag team division so weak. They're just trying to
Yeah.
bring in like anybody to help spice it up, which is like they brought in the Rascals from TNA, and of course
Yeah.
Zach Wentz used to be in NXT. So there's a
And if I'm
big,
not mistaken, didn't we just see that Motor City Machine Guns may or may not have just gotten signed to WWE?
yeah, yep, they
And
did,
oh my God, if they're even half as good as they used to be in the glory days of TNA, that is a hell of a pickup for the tag division in NXT.
yep. If
They
they
were
can put them in,
amazing.
if they can put them in NXT and let them work with some of the young guys, and like I said, just keep the division interesting, it'd be,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a very wonderful pickup. I mean, it's just, but the tag team, it's just lackluster kind of right now. Which I say that, but Nathan Frazier and Axiom, they call them Faxium, their ship name, their tag team name. My God, that is a
Fraxium?
fucking Faxium for Frazier and
Hmm.
Axiom. That is one of the best tag teams I've seen in some in years. Like that is so fun to watch. And now, so the Rascals, they came and like Zach Wentz and Wes Lee used to be in a tag team in NXT. So like they buddied up, whatever. And I guess they'll probably end up, they'll probably end up facing each other, like teaming
Oh,
up,
yeah.
doing some stuff like crossing over TNA and NXT. And then last night on TNA, the Charlie Dempsey showed up, and he was facing Alec. He was facing Zach Wentz of the Rascals last night, and Miguel was on the side, and then I can't think of his name, but Charlie Dempsey, one of his like gang member, whatever, uh,
Yeah.
his group member from No Quarter Catch Crew came up, like he went with them, and they attacked. They ended up attacking the Rascals, and Charlie Dempsey picked up the win, and they just started brawling, and it was good. Next week they already have a match lined up for next week too.
Hell yeah.
It's really good. Like there's a lot going on. Like and Izzy Izzy
Izzy
Dane showed
Dane,
up.
yeah.
She showed up and had the Jordan Grace had a TNA knockout open challenge, and Izzy Dane came out and they put on it was a damn good match. Yeah, TNA is like they're in a good place. Like they're picking up. I mean
I mean, they're not in the
I
Perk
really
Angle days, but I mean, I feel like wrestling as a whole is just getting a hell of a lot more popular.
except
And
for
I'm not a huge
AEW.
fan of AEW, but they're probably a big part of it. As far as keeping the competition up, because if the only person you're battling is yourself, then why try?
Yeah,
I guess was probably the mindset that WWE had there for a long, long time. And
yeah.
I'm so glad that the
Well,
competition is back. So that's
I mean TNA's never
it's
just
fun.
been a
It's
whole lot of threat to WWE. Like that's
not
the
really.
thing.
I mean, the closest they ever
That's the
came
thing.
to it was when like right when Hogan got there and they had the main event Mafia, I think
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, that was like the closest they ever came to being a challenge to WWE. And at that point, WWE was like, and like they were dick deep in the ruthless aggression period. And I mean, they didn't really have any issues with, you know, being the most watched wrestling program in the world.
Yeah. Like that's the thing with WWE is like you're not gonna beat them. I don't care what company you are. Like nobody's gonna be more popular than WWE. The thing is, like you have to fight because like you seen like WCW tried to fight them, they lost.
Yeah. Now WCW
ECW,
was like outrating them like every
yeah,
now
for
and
a
then,
year and
but
a
I
half.
mean that's because of the
That was
NWO.
it. Yeah, but
And I think they actually held the TV ratings for like dozens of weeks at one point,
yeah,
but
it was
pretty
for a
much
good
as
year
soon
and
as
a half.
DX came into the picture, it was like, oh, okay, never mind. And
Yeah, like
Stone
Triple H,
Cold and The Rock, and yeah, that's you can't do much about that.
like Triple H, damn near. He, you know what's crazy thinking about it? Like I just a random thought popped in my head. Like Triple H really has single-handedly saved the WWE like multiple times in his life, like
Oh
in the
yeah,
last 30 years.
I mean you're not wrong, dude. I mean everything from, I mean he arguably carried Raw in the early 2000s.
Oh yeah, like the Reign of Terror, like
The
02 to
Reign of
05.
Terror, how which is like us being like 28 going on 28, you know, if you're like our age and you were watching wrestling, that was like the era you were raised up on. Like my first memory in my life was like consciousness kicked in for me and I was watching a promo with The Rock and Stone Cold.
Yeah,
And that's just like that's how life kicked in for me. And I don't think I'm the only one, but I know, like, when we were growing up, like, we all loved The Rock and Stone Cold, and we all despised Triple H with a passion of 1,000 fucking suns. And you grow up and you realize it's like, well, he was doing a damn good job at his job. I got all the respect in the world. Arguably, maybe the best heel of all time. Maybe. It'd be between him, Randy Orton. Like, I don't know. Really, it's a take your pick, in my opinion.
yeah, you can't go
But
wrong either way. But
and not too damn shabby as a face either.
uh,
That late 2000s run with Shawn Michaels when it was just them doing DX. Those were some. They
some of the
haven't aged
best
well.
stuff.
I'm not gonna lie, that hasn't aged all that well, but it's
To be honest, there hasn't been a lot of there's a lot of stuff that hasn't aged, that great.
yeah. Even in the PG era,
Yeah. Oh,
who'd have thunk it?
that stuff was just cringy. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a whole different that's a whole different thing.
like no more
But
bleeding.
no more bleeding. Yeah,
No more bleeding.
they've been showing a lot of bleeding,
Oh yeah,
a lot of blood.
a lot of bleeding. Probably I'd say arguably as much swearing as the Attitude Era, if not a
Yeah,
little more. I don't actually don't remember there being this many F words.
and it's gonna be exciting when they go to Raw.
It's really just honestly it's just The Rock, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like
pretty much.
it's just The Rock. No disrespect to him, it's just like I guess he's on the board of directors. He can do whatever the hell he wants to. So,
Yeah, it's
but I'm
it's
not against it. I'm ready for it to go to Netflix, man.
it's gonna be cool. And then I
Man,
think, which is cool that they're gonna move SmackDown to USA, and then SmackDown's gonna be 3 hours. But I think they need to take SmackDown if they want to do it. Like color
I think they
coordinated.
both need to go to Netflix,
I think they both need to go Netflix. That way, it's all in one place. But
and then put NXT, keep NXT on USA, but make it 3 hours. Because
yeah,
why not?
Yeah, why not? I mean, give people some, you know, give
If
them
you're going to
young
be bringing in, if you're going to be
talent.
bringing all these people in from TNA and all that, give them a platform like in the WWE universe.
Yep.
Why not extend it an extra hour? Get that much more people in.
And
It's not like they're
Joe,
losing money on NXT.
nope. And Joe Hendry's gonna win the Royal Rumble next year, so gonna be the first TNA champion.
That would feed families, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I am excited though to see how it to see how that's gonna play. I don't know. Like I'm excited to see if Joe Hendry. I'm pretty sure he's gonna get put over Moose to have the title because he as over as he is right now, like worldwide, not just in wrestling, but just in the universe.
Literally
Joe
everywhere. Like,
Joe Hendry needs he just needs to have that world title from TNA, and then you know who's to say? I mean, hell, he might go. He might end up going to WWE one day. Like he'll be a champion there too. I'm sure.
yeah.
I'm ready to see him. I think he's gonna be the first one to debut on the main roster, or to show up like on Raw or SmackDown or something.
I think that would be. The thing is, like, I fully agree with you. I just don't know if. Because as many people watch WWE NXT, they still probably don't watch TNA.
Yeah,
And pretty much everybody that watches WWE NXT probably at least watches SmackDown or Raw.
yeah,
Not everybody that watches Raw and SmackDown watches NXT, and you can almost guarantee that the people that watch Raw and SmackDown and don't watch NXT probably don't watch TNA. But there's still this like effect that he has on the world right now. That you like every week, Raw and SmackDown alike, I will see a Joe Hendry sign, if not two,
yeah.
like on the camera, like on the on the film side. I forget what the term is for it, but like the side of the arena they're filming, you'll see it. You'll see Joe Hendry signs like
Everywhere.
here and there. And in NXT, they're everywhere because I mean he's actively been showing up there. But I feel like it's just a matter of time before he shows up in the main roster. He may very well be in the Rumble this year, and it may be kind of like that Battle Royale when he debuted in NXT. He shows
Nah,
up, starts talking, gets put out immediately.
I don't
Next
know if
time he
he'll get
shows
put
up,
out
he's actually
immediately.
whooping ass.
I don't know if he'll get put out immediately, but because
I would hope not, but
if he shows up to the Rumble, I'm sure he'll have a good a showcase.
yeah.
Kind of like Jordan Grace did last year when she showed up in the women's Royal Rumble. Like, man, she went off. She went off.
I mean he could do that too, and I'd like to see that.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
I wouldn't be against him winning it, to be honest with you, but
Nope,
anyway, off of TNA and on to SmackDown because I think we really haven't talked about SmackDown.
no. SmackDown's tonight.
Yep, it sure is, and we'll have another.
We'll have a
We'll work
bloodline
out the.
segment.
Go ahead.
No, we'll have a bloodline segment. Like there's gonna be something to tie in the bloodline and Cody Rhodes, like that title picture. There's gonna be something there, and then
I feel like that's the direction they're headed. I definitely also feel like Roman is more likely to come back than he's not this SummerSlam, especially after what just happened to Paul Heyman.
yep,
But
and then let's see, SmackDown.
I feel like we can go ahead and get like the least over story out of the way first. This Andrade and Legado del Fantasma.
I
And
actually
the thing
know
is,
it's
I feel like Andrade's about to actually start getting pops now after what he just did in the Money in the Bank. Because if he don't, then people are just stupid. Like the dude has been solid as hell every time he has a match,
yeah,
and
but
it took him. If he don't get a pop after that, like I don't
I
know.
don't know what to do. But Legado
I
del
don't.
Fantasma
I don't
right
know what to
now.
say. Legado del Fantasma, like I want to like them, but they just have negative aura.
Yeah. Well,
And
okay, so like the Andrade is kind of fizzled out because now Angel and Umberto are like they're beefing with Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews, and they're having a tag team match tonight. So we'll see
now,
how that goes.
well,
So right now, I'm looking
if
like
I had to guess, it'd probably be LDF winning. But Baron
uh,
Corbin hits an end of days. You already know they try to protect that move at all costs. So
yeah,
you
if he
see
hits
that move,
into
you
days,
may as well just count a three, because
yep.
it's
So looking at the SmackDown card, it's like we got Michin versus Nia Jax tonight. Then you
yeah,
got the
me. Sorry, go ahead.
we got the Baron Corbin Apollo Crews versus Legado del Fantasma match, and Tiffany Stratton is appearing live, and then in quotation, the head of the table, Solo Sikoa, he will be
Hmm.
out there, and I'm sure it's gonna be him and Cody out there, like probably come to blows, and then I'm sure Randy Orton and Kevin Owens will show up.
Yeah, and then here comes the rest of the bloodline because.
Why
But here's
not?
the thing: they got them outnumbered 4-3 right now. I don't know if it's going to be this week or next week, but you know, we got 3 weeks till SummerSlam.
Yep.
So whatever does happen, I really do. I would. I don't know if you can bet, but I would put money on Roman coming back before SummerSlam, if not coming back at SummerSlam.
Yeah, they said
Like
it's
maybe
supposed
not.
to be the night before, like the SmackDown August 2nd, like the night before. He's supposed to be back, but he could show up beforehand.
Yeah, it's very possible.
I mean, with the storyline they have going on, it's possible he shows up tonight.
I mean, it's gotten very, very intense. I mean, everything with the bloodline was intense. It's
Yeah,
just violence incarnate. And
pretty
I think whatever happens tonight is definitely going to lay the groundwork going towards SummerSlam. But outside of that, you got a DIY. I'm expecting them to at least make an appearance. I don't know in what capacity. I think Austin Theory's face turn is
much.
coming sooner than later. I don't know if it's going to be tonight, but I do feel like it's going to happen.
It's bound to happen.
And I'm here
With the
again.
card.
I'm here for it, dude. Austin's pound for pound, maybe one of the best, if not the best technician on SmackDown.
Besides Randy Orton.
I mean, there's that. there's definitely that. But I
Him and
mean,
Cody.
that's also like
Can't really
someone
put
could say
anybody over.
you can argue Randy Orton's the greatest wrestler of all time, and I would be like, all right, I wouldn't disagree with you at all. Like he definitely has made his case. So
Yeah,
maybe that's a little like short sighted to say Austin Theory, but like out of people like as young as he is, you also have to think, dude, he is something special
yeah.
in the ring,
Oh,
and
he is. Without a
he's had this heel run, and he's over as hell as a heel right now, and people are just begging him to go over, like get him, and people are just you can feel it. Now it's not like as big as Otis, but I feel like Otis and Chad need to have that match. at some point.
Yeah, just
Maybe
solidify,
Mania,
just to solidify their.
that departure. 'Cause I feel like Otis could have a really good singles run.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'd like to see it. I mean,
And Akira
he'd be
Tozawa is a damn great wrestler himself, man. I would really
it'd be
just
cool to
love
see
for
him,
everybody in there.
like see him with some mid card titles or something, you know,
Oh
or
yeah,
hell have him and like Otis and Tozawa win a damn tag team title, even if it's for like a month or two, whatever, you know.
yeah. Have
Like,
them go over the Judgment Day, or honestly, what I feel like is gonna happen, and like at the end of the Wyatt Six thing, I feel like the Creed brothers and Ivy Nile, they're kind of the like honestly, they're kind of the perfect heel replacement for the Alpha Academy.
yeah,
And I mean, we've been seeing Chad in the background talking to him for quite a while now.
yeah. That's that Triple H book. You got to build it like subtle build up.
Oh yeah, like Dominic and Liv in the background,
Yep. It's just,
and
I don't know.
Now Mommy's back, and that's a whole thing. But that's also Raw.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be. I don't know. There's a lot going on. I don't know. We need to talk about it forever.
You
It's
definitely
beautiful.
can,
It's a beautiful time to be a wrestling fan.
absolutely. And I think tonight is gonna be a wonderful fucking night of wrestling as far as SmackDown goes.
Oh yeah.
But we can briefly talk about basketball for a sec. A lot of people saying the 2024 NBA draft is, and I quote, the weakest shit I've ever seen.
It's it's definitely
But
in
to
there.
be honest, when the number one pick looks like a massive little dicky, I mean, you got to take what you get. But I honestly think this is a sleeper class. I feel like there's going to be some, I don't think everybody in the class is just going to be an absolute monster, but like, I feel like there's going to be some people in there that people are sleeping on. I feel like this is kind of like the Wimby hangover from last year's draft.
Yeah. And like so with basketball, like I'm a San Antonio Spurs fan, and
Yeah, so he's doing great. Meanwhile, I'm a Blazers fan,
they're
and
in
we're in hell. Like it's not good.
hell.
Chauncey Billups, one of my favorite point guards watching growing up. Y'all got to hire somebody else. Like I'm sorry. Get somebody that will actually teach these sons of bitches how to play not offense or defense, both fucking basketball. Please just do something for me, please, before I jump off a bridge. Um,
Yeah.
we don't have bridges in Oregon. We have mountains. I jump off the tip and just roll down it.
It's
Painful death. So please hire someone else.
it's a terrible. I mean, I don't know about the Blazers, man. It's a tough time.
It's a tough
Like
time to be a Blazers fan. I was very optimistic about DeAndre Ayton until I wasn't, and I don't know when that happened, but it didn't take long.
they're about 10 games in.
I think it took about 10 minutes into the first game in, and it wasn't. Again, he's a great center. When he was with the Suns, very underrated player, but like, no, it's not been working out because I don't think he's had a good enough point guard.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, he is fighting for his life out there. So
He's
you
definitely
got
fighting for his life. I mean, career high rebounds, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean,
at
when
what
you're
cost?
standing next to the block and everybody on your team can't fucking make shit. Oh wow, look, DeAndre Ayton's like top 10 offensive rebounder in the league. I wonder why that is. Like it don't take a scientist,
Yeah, you have Brick
but
City. I mean, it's easy to get rebounds when you're just standing there. Like
it's
when you're
Brick
just
City.
posting
We
up,
were Rip City. It's Brick City right now. You're absolutely right.
and then
We had a good lead on y'all on games, and I think y'all wound up passing us up.
yeah, and
And
damn.
But the Spurs, I mean, like I don't think the record should be indicative of where y'all are this year. I really do feel like y'all are like at the very least a play-in lot.
Yeah, like the Spurs. I mean, they're just a young team, and like like it took to the end of the season to like finally figure out how to close game, like win games, because they couldn't. Like they were in games, and then they just like. Well, one thing was instead of their starting five went out, it just went to shit. Like we just started
Yeah.
like giving up multiple points, like just absurd amount of points, and now the Spurs. I mean, like I said, they finally figured out how to win a little bit. So
Yeah, it's
you know,
called Keep Wimby Out. And
yeah, keep Wimby out there, which I think.
that's the whole goal. It's just keep
But
Wimby out as long
and
as you can.
I'm not excited. I'm not saying, oh, we got Chris Paul. We're gonna be the best freaking team ever. Like no, like I think
Here's the thing, dude. Like this statistically true that like the past 10 years, well, basically 10 teams that he's been on is like every first year he plays for a team, their winning record improves. Now here's the thing, the bar is low for y'all. So if y'all don't win more than like what y'all win this year, like
15.
15. So yeah, I mean, just win 16, and then like the Chris Paul effect still lives on, but like at what cost? Also, I know you're wanting like at least 45 wins, like bare minimum. I know
I would
you got
love.
high expectations as hell, but
Well, I mean, I have like I think a playing lot for sure. Honestly, I think I like right now. If I said like the highest I think they could do would be 18. Realistic, I mean
18.
eight seed.
Oh, 8 seed. My bad. I was
Yeah,
gonna be like, well, 3 wins is an improvement, but
I'm saying like that's like my optimist. Like